Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special edition, a special PBALC author live stream. As always, we want to thank Southwest 66 Credit Union for sponsoring all of our 2023 informational and author live streams for this year. Today we want to welcome Miss Sheri Wall. She is the author of The Maiden Mermaid, The Tale of Sirena. Welcome, Sheri. We are so happy to have you today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I have never actually done one of these live streams before, so it's just an honor, really, to be with you all.
Well, ours are easy peasy, and we like to feature, authors in Texas and not, not so very well-known authors. We love to feature their stories and their books. So we're excited to feature your book.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you start off by introducing yourself and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the book.
Okay. Well, my name is, like you already know, is Sheri Wall, and I am a Texas native. I've actually been in the Killeen, Texas area all of my life. I really didn't start writing until later in life, so I like to call myself an empty nest author. I have two sons, and as the name implies, they are grown and out of the house, and my husband and I live in the country. He's also self-employed, and this little empty nest authoring actually started just for fun and turned into a little bit more. So I'm happy to have written. I have 13 books and one on the way. If I can brag just a little bit while I have a captive audience, I have a Thanksgiving book called I Am Thankful, a Thanksgiving book for children that I actually did with a publisher. And it is number, I think, like 55 right now on Amazon's top 100 books. So I'm really proud of that. So like I said, I never set out for any other reason than to see, but it's turned into a little bit more. And Maiden Mermaid was one of the books that I was very excited to be commissioned to write. And we're going to get into that. So I guess that's enough about me.
Well, in later in the interview, we'll ask you what you're currently working on and your projects, and we'll post all that information in our comments after the live stream, so people can, if they're interested in purchasing any of your other books or the Maiden Mermaid, then they can go in there and make that purchase. So, but moving on to the Maiden Mermaid, the Tale of Sirena. As we were discussing offline, that my husband and I made a trip to Toledo, Texas, and that's where I discovered this book, this wonderful little book and the story. So, but our viewers don't really probably know very much about it. So tell our viewers a little bit about this Texas family folktale and how it came about.
Okay. So I'm going to show you the back cover of the book, and there's a picture of a mermaid statue or sculpture. Mm-hmm. And this was made by Troy Kelly, and he actually still lives in Salado, Texas. But he moved to Salado from a different area of Texas. And when he saw the creek that flows through Salado, it reminded him of a story that his Native American grandmother told him when he was a little boy. And he fashioned the sculpture all on his own and gifted it to the city of Salado. So he did all the funding and everything about it. And a little fun fact is the bronze of the first casting was from recycled water meters from Waco, Texas.
Oh, wow.
So he gifted it to Salado in 1986, and he remembers his grandmother telling him this story about a Native American maiden, and she makes a deal with a talking catfish in order to win her heart's desire. It's about an 80-year-old story. As far as we know, we're not really sure where Grandmother Kelly, how she came up with it. But it's a bit of a cautionary tale, but he said he was just captivated by it when he was young and would ask for it again and again. And there are a lot of life lessons within the story.
Mhm.
And when Sirena became popular in Salado and sort of became their celebrity, she had many opportunities to be showcased. She has another book that was written in the 90s. There's also a play called Salado Legends that features her story. There's also now a festival that is named after her every year that Salado celebrates her. And then Mr. Kelly happened to see some of my other work, and he wanted to write a rhyming children's book, or more lyrical and more easier for children. The other book that was written about her is a little more advanced and has some embellishment to it. So I was super excited when he reached out to me. I was an acquaintance of his when I used to work in Salado, but hadn't talked to each other in a long, long time. So it was an honor to do this for him and the family and the people of Salado and anyone that just falls in love with the story.
Fabulous. And who did you collaborate? I mean, the illustrations are beautiful in this book. It's hard to show it on. Maybe we can see some of them, but illustrations are wonderful, wonderful. Who did you collaborate with to create the illustrations?
So the illustrations were done by Alona Stout, and she had done some other work for me, and she is from the Netherlands. And when Mr. Kelly and I were talking about producing this book, I asked him about who he would like to illustrate it. And I said, we can use a Texas illustrator or maybe someone local to Salado because it's a very, art heavy town. And he was like, oh no, I like these, he pointed to one of my other books. He's like, I really like her style. So Alona does everything on paper still. Many children's book illustrations are done digitally. But she painted it all with watercolor, and then she actually photographs the art. And then it's sort of magic how it's moved around to make the pages that you see. And the designer that actually worked on the book is my niece, Erin Riddle. And so we were given these beautiful watercolors and then moved them as we needed them. And there's always little adjustments made, electronically. But Alana does everything by hand. And these were not done with line art, which means it was just all painting. She didn't sketch it first and then paint it. So that sort of mystical look, I think that is so enchanting about it.
Well, the illustrations really brings the story to life. So, and they're so beautiful. You could rip them out of the page and frame them. I don't recommend you do that, but you could.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, my husband and I had visited Salado, which is a beautiful little charming town in Texas, but they are all about mermaids and about Sirena there. And we were wondering, we're like, why are there so many mermaid things here in Salado? But if you ever get a chance, go and check out, spend some time in Salado and see all the mermaid, fascinations, and go by the creek and see Serena's statue. It's very beautiful.
She's up in a garden now. She used to be on the water, which this picture is when she was on the water years ago. But they had to move her because of torrential rains that flooded the creek. And, she's very, very heavy, and they had her, long stakes in her. They didn't think the water would move her, but it happened twice. So they moved her up onto drier land. But
Yes.
yeah, it's really fun to visit her there and read the story. When it was dedicated, and like you said, there's mermaids everywhere in the city. A lot of interpretations of what she might look like. There's even a beer
Yeah.
from the local brewing house that was inspired by the story. Yeah, so it makes a fun little trip.
Well,
Nice.
let's get to the book, and would you read the book to our viewers?
Yes, I am prepared to do that. And I believe we have the pictures that are going to be on the screen. So I'm just going to look down and read because the pictures are there for me. I wanted to start really quick, though, with the dedication, if that's okay, from Olivia Ashley Kelly, which is Troy's granddaughter. And she writes, Maiden Mermaid, the Tale of Sirena, is based on a story that was told to my grandfather by his grandma Kelly when he was just a little boy. Many years later in Salado, Texas, he felt inspired to create a life-size bronze mermaid sculpture in honor of Sirena, placing her on the banks of the Salado Creek in 1986 for all to see and enjoy. My grandfather has always treasured this story and has lovingly passed it down to all of our family, the village of Salado, and now to you. I hope you cherish this book and continue to believe in mermaids. So now we are going to get started. Maiden Mermaid, the Tale of Sirena. In a land rich and full of trees oak and mesquite, and rolling green grass along the banks of its creek, lived a Native American maiden so fair, with dancing dark eyes and long flowing hair. Sirena, they called her, impetuous and proud, her voice so melodic, happily singing aloud. Serena's heart fluttered near Brave, tall and lean, longing for his attention, yet she stayed sight unseen. Weeping alone by the creek, Sirena whispered her plea. If my bold, fearless brave would choose to notice me, O brilliant moon above, bubbling springs below, please send me a sign and make brave my bow. Then at that very moment, a lowly catfish appeared, magically speaking a promise through his long whiskered beard. I hear you, fair maiden, your despair and deep sighs. I will help you, Sirena. Look deep into my eyes. A spell I will cast upon brave, fierce and strong. A courtship, a wedding, he'll be yours all life long. I do have an exception. When the full moon shines bright, my companion underwater for 1 year from tonight. Not swimming as a human, a mermaid you will be, with a tail glowing turquoise, splashing water playfully. But if at our secret meetings, brave sees your fish-like ways, you'll remain with me forever. A mermaid you will stay. Sirena pondered a moment what Catfish had proposed. This could be the one solution to put an end to all her woes. Yes, absolutely, Sir Catfish. I'll do anything you command. The year will pass so quickly once Brave has vowed my hand. And just as Catfish promised, Brave fell in love so true. In front of their small village, Brave and Sirena said, I do. Every moment spent together, completely filled with bliss. Brave was none the wiser of what Serena had amiss. Moon's glow turned gleaming circle, Serena tiptoed to the creek, slowly diving underwater, transformed mermaid physique. With the contract almost over, Catfish lured her to a spot where a tiny fish hook dangled so Serena would get caught. Stuck firmly in her tail, Serena flopped onto the bank. This should only take a second. It just needs a careful yank. Serena, do be cautious. I sense danger down the path. Catfish chuckled, just a little, at the cunning of his wrath. Just then Serena looked up and saw among the trees the silhouette of Brave moving toward her steadily. They focused on each other, eyes wide in total fear. Catfish grazed Serena's shoulder. You know what this means, my dear. Brave was filled with confusion, rushing to his mermaid wife. Serena, sobbing deeply, said goodbye to human life. Catfish felt so ecstatic at the fulfillment of his plot. His lonely days were over, though Serena was distraught. Some say this is legend, but others think they know that in Salado, Texas, Serena's salty tears still flow.
Also, your sound is turned off.
Sorry.
Sheri, I apologize for that. What there's some definitely some life lessons learned in that story, and what do you feel are some of the biggest life lessons that you want people to take away from this folk tale?
I'm going to take them right from the book because we felt like it was very important to include them. I'm going to be honest, when some parents read the book, they aren't happy because it doesn't have a happy ending. So Mr. Kelly and I felt it was important, things don't always have a happy ending, but you can use your circumstances to make good things happen. So we carefully considered the lessons, and if you don't mind, I'll just read them.
Absolutely.
So these lessons flow just below the surface. Be patient. Stay calm and wait for the right time to start something new. Talk to an adult when you need help knowing what to do. Trust carefully. When you trust someone, you know they are helpful, kind, and do what they promise. You feel safe around them. Make wise choices. A wise choice makes you happy and brings joy to others too. Being patient is also important in making wise choices. There could be more to the story. Serena was sad that she was no longer a human, but use your imagination and think about all the mermaid adventures Serena can have now. It's a choice to be cheerful and make the best of something that didn't happen exactly as you wanted. Be resilient, which means to bounce back and keep going even when you are sad. So we wanted to include those, and teachers can use them as discussion, and parents to facilitate, talking to their children about the legend. And we also included vocabulary in the back, learn new words. They seem fancy, but their meanings are simple, and we listed them in the order that they appear because it is there is some advanced vocabulary, but as an author, I like to include that because it's a teachable moment,
Mm-hmm.
for the child when they're listening. The reader can stop and explain it, and if it's a self reader, they can look in the back, or they can use context clues to figure it out. So I don't usually shy away from bigger words. That's how they learn them.
Absolutely. um, well, there's so many lessons that children and adults can learn
Yeah,
from this very small, short folk tale. And there's so many, I think, Native American proverbs that are so similar that, people can learn from them, just like Native American proverbs, Chinese proverbs. There's so many um, proverbs that children and adults can learn, and
right.
even in this new age
We
they
can
can continue to learn.
Yes, we all
Absolutely.
need to remember to be resilient and to try to, look for the positive when something didn't go our way. So it's easy to be positive when you get your way all the time, but
Exactly.
you have to make a choice to keep going and be happy about other things. So um,
Absolutely.
I wanted to show, if I could, so we have a little doll that goes with the book. Um, that
Oh, very cute.
that's Serena. So she goes with the book, our little Native American mermaid. And another fun little fact about this book is we crowdfunded it when we produced it.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people are familiar with Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We actually used Indiegogo, and we explained what we were hoping to produce, and people basically you're just pre-buying the book and making a donation, and then when it's print, then we mailed them out. So we had a lot of fun doing that, and keeping the legend alive was one of our taglines, and it was a lot of fun to see people get excited about the legend. And we have a few mermaids from Texas that heard about the story online, and then they became captivated with it as well. So the
Uh-huh.
quarters of that. So yeah, it was a really good experience doing that to make the
And
book.
it's great publicity and promotion for Salito, Texas, too.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Salado is, very thankful for Serena, and actually a nearby city, San Marcos, is the mermaid capital of Texas.
Oh, okay.
So so we so we
Yeah, because they
support.
have the big river there.
Yes, and they have a big event every year as well. So we always attend that, and we like to, call Serena a sister of the San Marcos Mermaids. So yeah, they're very,
Very good.
very, yeah.
Well, what other projects and books are you currently working on, Sheri? We'll
Well,
share all that information in our comments, like I said.
okay, sure. So everyone can see what I've done on my website, which is amatterofrhyme.com. I have a collection of books about a Great Dane, and Millie is her name, and she belongs to my niece, Erin Riddle, who I mentioned is a graphic designer who worked on Maiden Mermaid, and she also does all of Millie's books. And Millie has a fifth book coming out called A Silly Millie Friendship. She currently has Silly Millie the Dane, which was her first book, A Silly Millie Christmas, A Silly Millie Fall, A Silly Millie Birthday, and now we have Silly Millie Friendship. But Millie's a very silly Great Dane that lives in Temple, Texas, and we take pictures of her being silly, and we had the idea to, let's write about her. So her books are written in limericks, and they're a lot of fun. So it's fun to pick up the cadence of the lyric, and kids just love dogs, and especially big dogs. So I'm working on that one, and then I have a couple of other ideas that are floating around in my head, but nothing that's actually all the way on paper yet. So
Perfect.
the only next one that's coming out is A Silly Millie Friendship. So
And if people want to purchase Maiden Mermaid, The Tale of Sirena, where can they find it? And I heard you may have a coupon available for the
Yeah.
purchase as well.
So the hardcover is best ordered through my website. Amazon has a very limited supply of that, but I would recommend getting it from me. And my website is amatterofrhyme.com. And for everyone that's interested, I have a code for 10% off on my website. It's Literacy Matters, and the code is LM10, and you'll get 10% off. And I'll sign the book for you, and I can personalize it. And we have cute little mermaid stickers, and she has a fun little bookmark, and that I can provide all of that for you. I don't actually have the doll on sale on my website, but if someone wanted one, they could definitely email me or fill out the contact form on my website, and I could, talk to them about that. I'm not sure why I never added it to my website, but I usually take it to events, and we were talking about that previously, and I was like, I just need to add that there. So, but that is available. And there is also a paperback version on Amazon, and you can get that directly. The easiest is from them, because I have access to them as well. But honestly, most people have Prime shipping, and it's much cheaper for them to get it right through Amazon. But it does come in paperback. Yeah.
Perfect. We will share all those links and your contact information on the comment section after the live stream. Well, as
Okay.
you know, we love here at PBALC, love and encourage reading, and obviously reading is an important part of literacy learning. So we always ask our author guests, what are you currently reading, and what are some recommendations that you have for our followers?
What I am currently reading, to be honest with you, I don't have an adult book that I'm reading right now, but I have a bookshelf full of independent author books that I love to support many of them. I don't want to mention any names because there's so many, but I mostly consume kids' books all the time. And I also do editing for people. So I have their books running in my head. As far as recommendations, that is a really tough one. I just really, if you go into Amazon or wherever you're searching for books, or even, into brick and mortar, just look. I recommend everybody look for the rhyming children's books. Not to take anything away from prose, but rhyming books are just so fun for the reader and the listener. And our brains just love patterns. And that's what drew me to writing and rhyme. When my sons were young, I would pick the book most of the time for all I could get away with doing that. And I always gravitated to rhyming books because they were so much fun to read, and they liked listening to them, and they pick up the rhythm and the repetition, and they start early reading. It's just so wonderful for their cognitive development. So I know that wasn't much of an answer, but just Google rhyming children's books, and so many will come up. And try some of those if you haven't done it in a while. It's just fun for the reader and the listener.
And I think, I don't know if it's this weekend or this past weekend, there was a Texas Book Festival in Austin. So that was, if you can make it to the Texas Book Festival in Austin, that's a great place to find independent Texas writers too. All kinds.
I was supposed to actually be there, but I have a grandson on the way that
Oh boy.
not due until the day after Thanksgiving. But since we don't really know, I was like, it would be very difficult to remove myself from that event if I had to. So I decided to not attend. But that was I didn't, I haven't heard any reports on it, but it's always a great event, and just so many opportunities. And at Christmas time too, search different markets, Christmas markets. There's usually
Mhm.
book vendors there, and it's just amazing to see how people are creative on their own, and independent publishing and smaller authors. We wear a lot of hats, and it's really wonderful to support them and meet them and hear their stories. It's fascinating. So
Absolutely. Your independent authors are a secret treasure, I think. So, but if any of you want to know more about Sheri and purchase any of her books, make sure and check out her link that we'll be sharing with everyone, and take advantage of that code that she's providing to all of our PBALC followers. I want to thank you again, Sheri, for joining us this afternoon. And like I said, make sure and check her out. I don't know if you have a social media presence or a web, obviously you have a website, but
I do. I'm
no.
on Facebook and Instagram, and sign up for my newsletter because that's always entertaining.
So make sure and sign up for the her newsletter. Check her out on social media, and if you want to make a trip to Salado, and I know they sell this book in the local bookstore there. So if you want to make a trip to Salado, it's a charming little town. My husband and I really enjoyed it. So go in and visit Salado. And probably I keep mispronouncing it. I think it's Salado, not Salito. And go and check out the bronze sculpture of Sirena, the mermaid, on the banks of the creek, is what they say.
Calendar, the first weekend in October is Salado's Creekside Carnival, Serena's Creekside Carnival in Salado, and that's an amazing event too. So for next year, awesome. Get it on the calendar early.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Sheri, and make sure and add her book and her books to your reading list. And we will see everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see everyone next time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye.